Welcome back, Intro to Engineering students. In today's video, we're going to design a basketball, and let's just go ahead and get started with it. We're going to start a sketch, so create sketch, and I want you to select the side plane, this one over here, and we're going to select that, and we're going to draw in a circle. Select the circle tool, click from the center, go out, and a standard size basketball is 29.5 inches, okay? So you have to type in 29.5 IN. Otherwise, it's going to keep it in millimeters. I'm going to press enter, and it converts it to millimeters, but it is that 29.5 inches. Okay? Now that we have that, we're going to select the line tool. And I want you just from the very top, find a good snapping point, to the bottom, find another good snapping point. We want to draw a line. I pressed escape to escape that tool. And now I'm going to trim the basketball in half. So I'm going to select trim, and I'm going to click on half the basketball. And it's been trimmed. I'm going to press finish sketch, and that's our first sketch. What we're going to do is we're going to build the basketball in 3 sketches, and we're doing that because it's going to make it a lot easier to work with the individual components, because if I don't want to see something, I can just turn it off. If you build everything on the same sketch, it can become complicated, and we don't want to overcomplicate this process. So let's go ahead and make another sketch. I'm going to turn off the first sketch. I already know it exists and what it looks like. I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to select the same plane as before, and I'm going to draw in the interior of the basketball in a sense. This is what's going to help us visibly see those black lines that kind of go across the basketball. And this needs to be 29.2 inches. Enter. And once again, we're going to select the line tool. We're going to find a good snapping point, and we're going to draw across the center of the basketball. And we're going to use our trim scissor tool to trim off half the basketball and press finish sketch. So that's our second sketch. That's looking pretty good. Once again, we're going to turn it off. And now is the time for the design of the basketball. We're going to create a sketch. We're going to select the same plane as before. I'm going to select the 2-point rectangle tool. I'm going to switch it to the center rectangle. And then we're going to draw a center rectangle. And I just want you to make it 1,000 millimeters tall. Okay, so 1,000, I'm going to drop it down. And the in-between, the space in between here, I want you to make this 0.75 inches. Enter. Okay, so you could see it made it, but it snapped away my 1,000 millimeters, so I'm just going to redimension that to 1,000. And I did that because 1,000 goes beyond the basketball, which it's okay if the pattern travels outside the basketball because we're not going to see that. Okay, I want to repeat what I just did, but horizontally. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool, select center rectangle, start from the center, and draw outward. Okay, I'm going to just drop that down somewhere, and then use my dimension tool, click on the side here, specify 1,000, and then for the edge, this edge here, it's going to be 0.75 inches. Enter. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now comes the tricky part, adding in these like 2 circles that are each like 10.5 units from the top. So, or 10.5, yeah, it's something like that. So select the circle tool, and you got to be on the center. So if the center's here, you have to be like up vertically, but you have to be above that, okay? So I want you to draw in a circle. This circle is going to be 14.75 inches. Enter. Okay? And then once you have that circle drawn, we're going to dimension from the center of the circle to the center of the object, or the center of that plus symbol cross thing. And we are going to specify this as, I believe it's 10.5 inches. Enter. Okay, let me just turn on sketch 1 so I could visibly see. No, it's not 10.5 because the design curve's in. It's probably 12.5. So select that, 12.5 inches. Enter. Yeah, I think that's about it. It might be slightly off. It might be 12.75. Yeah, let's just do that. Sorry. Might as well while we're here so we get a better effect. So 12.75 inches. Okay, and now we're going to draw in the interior of this design. And we need to make sure that this is 0.75 inches across. So if the outer ring was 14.75 and we draw another one, we need to make sure that on each end we get that same amount. So I'm going to subtract 0.75, but then I'm going to do that twice. So this is going to be 13.25 inches. So this circle is going to be 13.25 inches. Enter. Up. And you see what happens if you don't type in the unit, you get millimeters. Okay, so if I look at that and I think about it, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. This should be smoother now. Select the circle tool. Somewhere directly beneath the center of the object, we're going to draw in a circle. We're going to say 14.75 inches. Enter. Then we're going to dimension from the center of this circle to the center of the object, and we're going to say 12.75 inches. Enter. And then we're going to draw another circle at the center of the circle, and this one's going to be 13.25 inches. Enter. Okay, so now we should have everything in place. Yep, everything in place. Just double checking that. I was like, why is that off? And now we just want to get rid of what's in the center. So this should be extrudable as one singular object. And right now, if you look in the center, you have all these things in here. So let's try to clear some of it out. I'm going to select, I press escape. I'm going to select the center stuff and I'm going to press delete. Oh, and it deletes everything. So let's undo that. I'm just going to press undo. Let's get rid of the lines first with the trim tool. So I'm going to select trim. I'm just going to kind of click on anything that's kind of interfering with the object. So I need a flowing space over here. I kind of cleared out the things on the top. So if I poured water from the top, it could go in from any direction. And I'm just going to go down to here, where if water was flowing in, it would stop at this wall. So I'm going to delete this wall. And I could even delete these lines. You don't need them anymore. And then at the center here, looks like there's a lot that can be cleared out. And if you just hold down the trim button, it will like auto just trim everything that's in the way. Okay, so that's cleared out. And then here, let's clear out these things. And then on the very bottom, there's probably just a handful left. Okay, so I'm going to press escape. You don't want to accidentally rupture the shape. It should just be like one singular object. Okay, so that's what mine looks like. Hopefully yours looks similar. Okay, so I think we're ready to make the basketball. I'm going to finish this sketch. Please make sure you have 3 sketches here. If you don't, you might have accidentally created an extra, or you might have tried to make them all on one sketch, and then your process isn't going to work like mine. I'm going to turn off sketch 3. And then we're going to start with sketch 1. So I'm going to turn that back on. I'm going to select revolve. And if it's the only sketch and there's only one shape on it, it should auto select the profile. So for the axis, I'm just going to select the center line and it's going to revolve that at 360 degrees. And I'm going to press OK. Next, I'm going to activate sketch 3. That's the design of the basketball. This we're going to cut through, so I'm going to select extrude. And hopefully I can select the shape. So I clicked on it and it selects that shape. I'm going to rotate it so you can see this better. And we don't want this to be a new body. We want this to be a cut. So I'm going to switch it to cut. And I want it to be equal on both sides. So I'm going to switch it from one side over to symmetric. Then I can grab the arrow, stretch it out, make sure it goes past the basketball, and press OK. If you did that, you should have a cool, slick basketball design, but it's hollow on the inside. And that's where sketch 2 comes in. I'm going to turn on sketch 2. That's the interior of the basketball. I'm going to press revolve. And once again, because that was the only sketch that does the only shape on sketch 2, it will auto select the profile. And then for the axis, we just click the center line. And make sure it's not on cut. Switch it back to join, and then press OK. And if you look, what we have here is a basketball. It's just a little hard to see. So let's make it a little easier. I want you to right click on one of the sides of the basketball, go to Appearance, and it's going to open up the Appearance wizard. Search for the color black. We're searching for that color because it's harder to color the insides of the basketball because you have to like be more specific. So I searched for black and I want to color the whole basketball black first. So I'm going to hover my mouse till it lights up the whole thing like this. These are just going to color a single section. So this would color everything. Select that by clicking once. And then I'm going to, let's say, use the Coding Black Oxide and drag that over. Okay, so colored the entire thing black. Next, I want to color these orange. So I'm going to type in the word orange. And of course, there is no orange color in Fusion 360. Why? I'm not sure, but there is none. Okay, not a problem though. Instead, we're going to look up the color red. And I'm going to select these 8 sections by holding down Shift and then clicking on them all. So I selected the 8 sections of the basketball. And I'm going to make this let's make this cool red. A glass, I don't know if glass would be cool. Let's do the aluminum red. And I'm going to drag that over, drop it in, and you can see that it's added it to the basketball. Now, any color that we add to our design shows it up here in this design. And I'm just going to select the red by double clicking on it. And I'm going to switch it inside to a more orangey color. Okay, if you don't want yours to be metallic, you can change the look of that as well. And if you increase the roughness, you'll see that it's not as, ooh, there's like an entire stadium in there. It becomes more like basketball looking or something like that. Okay, matte, I guess is the correct word. And then press done with that, and then close out of this, and there you go. Congratulations, you just designed a basketball. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, this is Mr. Z signing out. Peace.